Sorry about this, guys. I'm trying to fix this piece of crap broadcaster and Twitch at the same time as another piece of crap. So can you guys let me know if you're seeing any timeouts or delays? I was trying to set up a profile for Open Broadcaster so that I could also show the chat in. So can you guys let me know if you're seeing any the chat during the stream? But I think I need some super fast internet from Comcast to do that. So yeah, I would either have to you know, downgrade the resolution for the video, or not do the chat. So it's if you guys feel like you want to see it, I think it's a great idea. But then again, it might take away from the resolution of the window. So and I guess Twitch is having one of its days, by the way it looks. Yeah, so if you could let me know if you're seeing any timeouts or anything like that, I would appreciate it, just so that I maybe I can like bring down the settings a little bit for the encoding on this. Okay, so let's hope for the best. It's all you can do with these things. Um, a few of the things that I wanted to mention today, I actually have them written down. Um, so last week we were playing with viz areas and working on that sewer. So one thing that I found out was um, there's a view distance setting on viz areas. So for longer corridors like I had for my sewer, um, a problem came in where you would get to probably, you know, four of those viz areas down and you wouldn't see the first one. So it seems that um, the max level that you can put that viz area, so I'll just bring a viz area into here and I'll show you what I mean. So let's make a quick one here. Remember to keep it on the grid. Okay, so say this viz area contains you know, one of your corridors, and then you want to use multiple of these like I was trying to do last week. Well, this view distance ratio, apparently it's not really so by the way it looks, it refers to the contents of this, but it doesn't seem to be going over 100. So at a certain distance from this viz area, the contents, you know, you won't be able to see them anymore. So what I ended up doing was create one longer viz area for that section, which is a pretty long section. So let me show you what I did. So let's see. So there's the viz area that I mean. So I have one piece that's that length. And as far as performance, I haven't seen any drop. I'm just gonna play some music here. And from having this straight piece versus um, multiples, and I think that's I think I might just do that. And for the export, I'll probably do the same. I'll probably export like a longer section, and then probably the corner is going to be like a single piece, and then another straight section, or however I want to set up my sewer. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm thinking it's also going to be a lot easier to keep track of all the viz areas. And as far as performance, like I said, I haven't seen any increase or decrease. So that's what I'm planning on doing as far as these viz areas go. Okay, so that was something short to mention about the view distance on viz areas if you use like a lot of small ones. But that was a side note. The biggest thing I wanted to talk about is something that I learned from Ocho Nos. Hopefully I said that right. Ocho Unos, sorry. So he actually works on Cryblin, which is really great to talk about with somebody that knows the program. So let me go ahead and I'll open open one of my building files, because it mostly happens when you have multiple meshes that are not joint. So for example, you have, like I have my warehouse here. So the way I had it set up before, I had, um, and it was, and I still have it set up that way. I mean, you can still have it set up that way. It's entirely up to you. Um, but in my case, I had maybe the decals in a separate mesh. I had the probably the roof in a separate mesh, and that was what that was doing when I was exporting. So if you go to export the game, this setting here is checked by default. Do not merge nodes. So since I have a couple of Crybrilliant export nodes, I was thinking that if that setting is left unchecked, those nodes are going to be merged. And since I have an interior wall, and then I have, let's see, where's my exterior wall? And then I have an exterior walls, and as well as pipes and ventilation system, that upon export, all of these are going to be merged into one export node. So I'm guessing this might be a little bit confusing as far as do not merge nodes. So it actually does not merge the nodes, but what it does, it merges. So for example, if I had my interior walls and I had for example the the decals separated into a separate mesh, it would just merge the meshes that belong to the same node. So if I go in here and select, let's see, select my decals, and I'll separate these. So now it's a separate mesh. That option would just merge this, which is already an interior wall. It would merge it with my other interior wall meshes. So that's what that thing does. As far as performance, this is where the increase comes in. So one of the meshes that I had in here, I was showing in the last stream, was this factory. So the factory was pulling in about anywhere from 100 and probably around 160, 170 DPs. So the problem was that I had the factory, and let me just open that. Let's see, where do I have Blender? So the factory had multiple meshes, even though they belong to the same node. But upon export, I was not merging those nodes or meshes. So hopefully it's a little bit confusing. Hopefully you guys understand it. Okay, so let's open the factory. Okay, so as you can see, I have I mean, this is kind of a horrible. It looks pretty bad right now, but I have this one, which is factory interior, and then I had these posts, which is also factory interior, and I had these stairs, which also factory interior. So basically what this was doing was exporting all of these as separate meshes but together. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you do export the game and ask it to merge the nodes, well, what you get is everything is placed into, it's kind of like you merge into one mesh. So if I was to grab these, everything that's the factory interior, grab all these and merge them, that's what it's doing. But it's nice to be able to keep these separate sometimes. Just for I want to go in and maybe edit the trim, or I want to go in and edit the windows. So that's really nice. And I can show you. Let me show you the difference. What that makes. So let me bring in. I believe I have the new factory that was exported without merging the nodes. So let's see, I have the factory interior, I'll just use that. Okay, so there we go. This is the version that was not merging the nodes. So let's do, I'll turn on draw calls per object. So see, it's actually at, like 200, 220 depending on your distance to it. So, and now let me bring in the same exact mesh, but export it through merging nodes. So I'll go to brush, and it might be in test 2. Hopefully it's the right one. Alright, there we go. As you can see, this one is 41, 42 if you move in close. So that's actually, like, at this distance is 20, 20, 25, 28. So it's kind of hard to tell how the draw colors are made, but so now they're all both on the screen. So if you look at this, oh, you know what, Mark, let me turn the settings up a little bit, and you can let me know if it looks a little better. I don't know, it could be my that damn Comcast connection. Let me see. Alright, so I bumped the buffer and the bit rate to 1500. If you can let me know if it looks any better for you, that'd be great. So there you go. Actually, this one has the windows in it, so let's make it fair, and I'll bring the windows in as well. So there's the windows. So yeah, you can look at the difference between what draw calls. So it's almost it's a quarter of what it used to be before when I wasn't merging the nodes. So so I think that's a pretty big deal. It's a huge deal. Okay, I'm glad, Mark. I'm glad. Yeah, it's I was actually trying to and let me I'm gonna test your patience, guys, for just a little bit. I'm gonna try and turn on that profile where I'm recording the, oh, it's buffering. Yeah, just let it go for a little bit. I'm seeing it fine on my end. I mean, it is turning red in here, so freaking Twitch. Yeah, I'm seeing well, that's trippy. I'm seeing this, it's kind of like, even though it goes higher than whatever kilobytes per second I should be at, but it's like jumping all over the place, so probably that's why the buffering. I'm not seeing any buffering on my screen, but yeah, it can be annoying. Let me know if it gets any better. So hopefully it'll get a little better for you. So this was okay, perfect, that's good. So this is one example of you know, of a actually, this is a big building, so but you can tell that, you know, from 124 to 27 and 5, it's quite a huge drop. One of the other ones that I had, for example, I believe must have been the warehouse. Let's see. I think this is actually already exported properly. so it's probably not a good example. Um, but hopefully this factory is how many polys? So let's look at the factory. So all in all, this is also let's see. I have these on multiple layers, so bear with me. Yeah, so you're looking at about 43,000 vertices for everything, windows. But the building is not ready, so it's only gonna go up. But yeah, thank you so much, Oscar, or Ocho Unos, from Crydev. Uh, this was a great suggestion. That I was always afraid that when you export the game and you see this merging nodes, you're gonna merge all your meshes or like all your CryEngine export nodes, because they're nodes. So it was a little bit confusing, but um, I'm glad now that I know what it is. So hopefully it makes sense to you guys as well. But and the first time I did this, I was so impressed with that drop, and that's that is really excellent in bringing down the draw calls, especially when you're going to have a lot more buildings. So I hope that works for you guys. And speaking of, thank you, Oscar. Okay, so let me see. I think I had something else to talk about, and that has to do a little bit more with modeling in Blender, and something that I've discovered while making these trees. So um, I was working on getting LODs. Let me just close out of this. I was working on creating the LODs for these trees, and the branches, uh, since it's a pretty complex tree, I would say, it's you can see that it has quite a lot of faces in in those um, in those branches. So I was trying to figure out a way that I could create my LODs. So for example, this one is LOD 1 and this one's LOD 2. So I was trying to come up with a way to uh, select the faces that I wanted to delete, based on the texture that I know of. I'm actually using the same texture that the Robinia tree is using for the leaves. So I just had to kind of look at the texture and use these. And it's just from the Robinia tree that I exported, and I was able to use some of the leaves and create my own. So which took some time, but it was easy to get the LOD 0, but then I would have to take off a lot of polys to create the other LODs. So I think the best one to show is this LOD 2. So I was having a hard time because I know that the texture has some areas in it that are branches. So from a far away distance, you don't really want to see that. You just want to see whatever covers the texture more. So so the way I figured I would do this, and it was kind of just trying it out. if you go to your material and you select the leaves like so, in here you would see all your UVs. So of course, if you look at the 3D model, it's a little bit of a mess because it's, you know, all these planes, and you know they intersect, and it's really hard to select what you're thinking you might want to delete and has something that has less importance in the texture. So the way I did this was I went in here and I've selected, you know, right click the biggest um, coverage for UVs. So in my case, it would be some of these like bigger planes. So when you select this and you press H to hide, it deselects it from your 3D view. So if I go ahead and select all of these and hide them all, like so, I'm pretty much left with the smaller planes. I mean, some of them are still big, but um, I'm only left with things that are like in this area here, and you know, things that are around here, which are some of the branches in that texture. So maybe I could probably keep some of these as well. So now I can just delete these and create myself another LOD without having to go through and, you know, checking to see, okay, is this one here, is this one there, and that's how I made my other LODs for this. So if I was to, for example, this one's this is the tree, and let me turn on LODs for this. Oh, and I forgot, there's a bug, I'm sure, that when you have draw calls per object turned on, you can't switch here. So there you go. So this is actually the Robinia tree. My bad. So there you go. Your LOD 0, LOD 1, 2, and there it is. So I'm quite happy how this tree turned out. And you know, now that if I want to, I can go in and if you know I really want to or have the time, go in and change this texture to be something like, since it's using the Robinia tree leaf texture, and I can show you how that looks. Since it's using this texture here, unfortunately I can, for example, this is, oh come on, this area on the right bottom corner is the branches, so I've taken away most of those planes when yeah, is anybody else having issue with the buffering, guys? I know normally when I have issues, everybody else is gonna have issues, but I'm not seeing anything on my end. So, but there it goes. I was just like talking about it, and it's just happening. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, oh, I always mistake those. I'm just gonna bring down the settings a little bit, and hopefully that would work. I do not know what's going on with this piece of junk. I'll just bring it down to 1300. Yeah, and I'm also seeing a pretty big lag in in the image update. So So my apologies for that. But I am hoping you got the part where I was talking about the UVs. I found it to be very useful for myself. So so hopefully you found use in it as well. Um, Also, another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I just remember. Uh, so last week um, we were working with on that sewer. So now no worries, Mark. I tuned down the settings and it's down to 1300 kilobytes. Sorry about the buffering. I need to try and do some tests throughout the week. So if you guys receive any emails that this dude has gone online and is streaming, just disregard them because I'm probably just doing some testing, trying to set up a profile where I can record the chat window as well. So I mean, what I can also always do, and this is a little bit of a hack, but hopefully you won't get too annoyed with me. But if you could tell me if this works, I would really appreciate it. Uh, I'm gonna try and come on, and I don't know if this is gonna work, but um, so just trying to get the chat in there as well. Oh my god. Um, if you guys think this would work, let me see if it updates on the Twitch side as well. Um, I'm actually wondering if it will work. I'm trying to drag my browser that has Twitch um, into the monitor that has has CryEngine. So if you let me know if it works for you or not. Um, at least this is the easiest way to do it without affecting the buffering because you can set it up. You can set up a profile and this Open Broadcaster to. Okay, that's good, Mark. Nobody else complained, so hey, it's like voting. You don't vote, too bad. Um, but I'm gonna try and do it like this. If it doesn't work for you guys, uh, please let me know and um, I'll just bring CryEngine to its full size. And so the other thing that I wanted to mention is last week like I said, last week we were working with that sewer. So um, we were having a kind of a hard time getting getting the proper lighting for something that should be below ground. Maybe it should be really dark, and so anything along those lines. And we had it working perfectly with the cave. So after doing a little bit of testing, what I think I figured out, by the way it looks, is for example, let me do this. I'll create a quick object, and I'll export that, and I'll show you what I mean. So this will be just maybe like something on the ground, right? So it'll be probably like maybe like one of those crawl areas in the sewer, something like that. Yeah, huge delay. I've noticed the delay. It's terrible. So my apologies for that. I have no idea what's going on with Twitch. One of the things that I mentioned in the event message was if you guys would prefer for me to do this at a different time, maybe earlier in the day for me, or like I mean it'll be earlier for everybody. But if you'd prefer it to be earlier, that would work for me as well. I know some of you are on GMT time, or Eastern Europe time, so it's it wouldn't be, for me it wouldn't be that much difficult to do it earlier. But yeah, please leave me a note, and if that would work for you, then that'd be great. Okay, so back to this. I'll just do something here real quick. I'll do like a cylinder, maybe 24. This would be like a sewer pipe or something, and maybe radius of I don't know, 0.5. We'll do it like that. Hey, Asu. Alright, so let's do a quick unwrap. Let me do the start display. Alright. So let's give this thing a material, and we'll call it sewer drain. And then okay, yeah, that works. So we can try and shoot for next week to be sometime around 1:30. Hopefully that works for you guys. Okay, let's add an export node. So this is sewer drain. Okay, I'm gonna keep the normals pointing inside. There we go. Yeah. So let's for next week I'll try and plan it for 1 or 1:30. I'll post the event again on Facebook. I'm hoping that works for you guys. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about anything else as far as this goes. Let's see, what do we have? We have everything applied. Let's just do a quick thing here. This should be smooth. Okay. Something else that I wanted to show you, which I think it's something that's pretty nice, it's so if I set this whole object to smooth and go into the object data and set auto smooth to on and then bring the angle down, this would be kind of like an edge split modifier, but it would give you like a really proper shading. Now I haven't tested this much as far as exporting it through CryBlend, so this would be probably a test for it right now. So let's go ahead, export the game. I'm not going to worry about this because it's but I'm going to do materials. So let's do a test in my sewer. Let's see, buildings, sewer, and we'll call this sewer drain. Okay, let's go ahead and export. Hopefully that worked fine. Let's take a look. Okay. And there it is. So there's my object. I will apply just a quick brick material to it. Let's see, we'll do that, and we'll make it tile a little more. Okay, so let's see. So there it is. That's our object, and we want this to be dark, right? So let's bring it. I'll bring it on the ground, just because I mean that's going to be the placement of it. And let's go ahead and I will update my geometry. So nothing really happened. Let's put an outside layer to this. First of all, let's see if everything got voxelized. Apparently not. And that is because there's no holes in the ground. So let's do this. I'll bring this above. Let's try and update geometry. So there we go. You can see that it got pretty dark in here. And what I'll do, I'll add a outside layer to this. And it's pointing out, so that's good. Alright, so there we go. Let's update geometry. So there you have it. It's quite dark in here, and it's a lot better than what it was before. The problem I was having with my sewer was that I never had. Let me turn off this. I was never really happy with how the interior lighting looked in here. So it was always kind of bright and or too dark. So what I ended up doing was, since the voxels happen when you have a hole in the terrain, it was a matter of how far from the terrain I was placing my geometry. So let me show you what I mean. I'll go to sewer. Let's see, where do we have sewer and sewer lighting, and I'll select everything that's sewer related. So I'll bring this up a little bit. All these assets that belong to the sewer layer. So let's bring him up just slightly below the surface. That's above, right there. Okay, so this is sitting like right below the surface of the ground. So this is already this lighting is already processed. So I mean the voxels. So let's go ahead and I'll update geometry again. Let's see what happens. So apparently nothing, which is weird because earlier today I was just testing this out, and the closer I was getting to the surface, the lighter it was getting. So if you ever run into that issue, it's not so much about adding a lot of extra layers of adding extra layers of geometry or such, but it might be just the distance between these planes. Like in the cave that we did a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had all those big rocks that were like covering on the outside, and those were really far from where our actually cave was at. So I am assuming that in order to get these areas to be darker, they should be a little farther from whatever like separating plane you have for it. I'm hoping that makes sense for you guys. That it seemed to work for me when I was having this interior too bright, but I also haven't. I mean, this is also with this new bigger viz area, so I'm assuming maybe this one also helped as far as getting better lighting in here. Yeah, so this is a good example here, actually. Let's see. Let's quickly set up a viz area for this section, which is a small section of sewer. So I was actually hoping that I might have a leftover viz area that I could copy, but let's create one from scratch. So viz areas, keep it on the grid above ground, and let's create that. Yes, also whenever you create your assets, especially for buildings and such, what I'm trying to do is, and I know it's a little tough sometimes, I'm trying to create my buildings in, multiples. So it's not going to be like a meter and, 43 centimeters. It's going to be a meter and a half. So I'm trying to keep in line with that as much as I can. Okay, so let me just save this because I actually had a crash today because of moving one of those areas. So again, I'm going to place my viz area right inside of these walls, just like so. And it needs to be like that. So why can't I see this part here? Oh, because they're overlapping. Yeah, whenever you have an issue with having two viz areas close together and not seeing the contents of one from the other, it might be due to them overlapping. So let's see, I'm hoping Yeah, so you can probably see it right here where this corner goes into my new viz area. So I'll try and make that. Probably need to edit it. That's why it's good to keep on the grid, because now they align pretty nicely. So we'll see if I'm getting anywhere. Not yet. I need to pull it back a little bit. Oh, isn't that annoying? I'm wondering if I also have to do. Oh, that's annoying on multiple levels. So this one works properly. I don't know what's up with these guys over here. I'm kind of wondering about this. Wondering about the placement of the viz areas and portals. Oh, let's see if this is the problem, because this portal is setting outside of the viz area a little bit. So I'm gonna try and bring it in. Well, that seems to be part of it. There we go. Right, um, so that's something that you gotta be careful with, that whenever you set up your viz areas, they have to be completely inside of, I mean, sorry, the portals have to be contained, or they can't go outside of the bounds of the viz area. So like I had mine, which was a little taller, and one of the corners was sticking out. So so that's why apparently that it wasn't working properly. So let's see. This area is not currently voxelized. I mean, all this is, and has a proper lighting that I like. So let's see if I can get this one as well. Apparently that is not getting voxelized. Let me just reboot the engine and see if that helps. I'm also hoping having this chat box on the right is helpful for anybody. Yeah, because apparently setting up a profile in Open Broadcaster, you can, and it worked fine for me as far as recording this full screen, and then, a few, like 300 pixels worth of the screen next to it, which was, just the chat window. But I'm assuming what that would do is probably need an increase in your buffering, or your encoding speeds by your buffering by 20-30%. So I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay, that works. If we got a vote. Okay, so there we go. The voxels. It's weird how sometimes it wouldn't voxelize, but you have to restart the engine and the voxel would come into play. It could be probably also due to the fact that this is not a closed um, thing yet, so I'm assuming maybe that could be part of the problem. So, but I definitely like using like a longer piece of this, longer viz area instead of shorter boxes. So let me see if I can show you what I mean by the issue I was seeing. I don't know if it would happen because I'm outside of the viz area right now. I was trying to move farther away. Hey, never follow. I mean, never followed. Hey, Lash. Yeah, I was trying to message you, but it's Twitch, man. They figured out the perfect name for this service. Um, it's it would not I would not be able to send a message. I was gonna tell you like, oh, I'm streaming right now, but apparently you find out kind of towards the end. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a short stream today. Unfortunately, it's I'm a little tired, so I wanna take a nap. So if you guys have any questions about what I was talking about earlier today, um, about the um, the export nodes and how those work. Um, and actually, I can since I have this little box here, I can show you what I mean by and this would probably be the last thing on the stream. I can show you what I mean by having those export nodes. So right now, let's just go in and see where did I put that little doohickey. Oh, there it is. I'm thinking this is it. Okay, so this is that sewer drain that we just created. Let's turn on draw calls per object. Right now it's 5. Okay, so what I'll do, I will separate the exterior walls. So now this is 2 separate meshes. And I will do an export. And let's create a test folder in here. And for this export, I'm not going to merge the nodes. So let's do export. And let's check this again, and I'll bring in the new sewer drain that we just created. Drain, test, sewer drain. So I think that says it all. That's 10, this is 5. Exact same geometry, or sort of, but one is without merging the nodes, and one is with merging the nodes. So I think that says it all. And you know, think about it if it's a more complex mesh. So for example, a house, and you know, you're gonna have probably quite a few separated meshes for, say, your interior walls, and maybe you're gonna have, you know, some trim, maybe you're gonna have some decals, maybe you're gonna have you know, pipes or something else, and they're all as separate meshes, but they all gonna end up making the same object in the engine. So what you need to have is have that option unchecked. So in here, uncheck this, and as you can see, it, and oh, in this case it was just a test, but it just cut the draw calls in half. So you know, think about maybe a house that has maybe, you know, 200 worth of draw calls, which is very reasonable, and the same house having 100. So times maybe 50 of those houses, then you'll see what it means to have lower, I mean, to lower these draw calls for, I mean, in that amount, and I think that would save a lot. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Everything that I wanted to talk to you about this week, and so yeah, it's that's pretty much it. I'm like I said, if you guys have any questions, I'll still fiddle around here for another 5 minutes or so, just so that I'm waiting for Twitch to you know, update, since it's extremely laggy today. And maybe I'll go plant some trees in the park. I think that's what I might do. This is a cool texture that I got from Paul Newman. He's also a member of the CryDev community, and I'm still being torn about using it, because, you know, it's like an 8K kind of image, so I'm still debating whether to use it or not. So okay, last thing that I'm going to do is plant some trees and wait to see if there's any questions. So I'm actually going to use this new one that I made, because I really like it. It's kind of on that deciduous, or no, sorry, that Robinia tree, that comes with the engine, but I have more control over it as far as creating my own LODs and such. And let's do a 20, and we'll paint some of these. Alright, so here comes the cool part. I just update geometry just to get that lighting in. Yeah, I do have to say I like this engine a lot. And maybe throw in some vegetation. Hey, thanks, Lausch. Yeah, I'm still I kind of like this grass, but I'd like it to be more of a kind of a strand type grass. So it's still a work in progress, I guess. We'll see, maybe something, maybe I can just play with the texture a little bit and create strands out of it. Because right now it's like a clump type texture. So of course this is auto merged, and you can get that out of CryBlend as well and Blender. So it's just the only consideration is that it has to be has to have the same UVs. Okay, so with that being said and all that random vegetation thrown in, I will call it quits for this week. So I will see you guys next week, hopefully at an earlier time in the day. So I'm planning for, like I said, 1 or 1:30. I'll post something on Facebook and Twitter sometime next week. Hopefully a little earlier than my normal Friday or Saturday morning. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by. Everyone, take care and have a great start of the week. We'll see you in a few days. All right. Take care.